So this is potentially the last 24 hours before we get some kind of official announcement from Nintendo about Nintendo Switch 2. And I wanted to kind of sit down and talk to you guys about my thoughts on the new console and kind of what I have seen from the leaks over the past few weeks and my hopes for this new system. Obviously, the big one is that we were going to get some kind of official announcement tonight going into tomorrow. It's a little bit weird with Japan time zones and when they want to officially announce stuff since they're kind of a day later than here in America. But some of the stuff has been leaking like crazy since the beginning of the year. Like there has been so many leaked photos on Twitter and other places that, it feels like we already know a lot about this system if you want to believe those leaks. So it'll be nice if we do get an official announcement from Nintendo themselves, kind of confirming some of the stuff that we've been seeing over the last 2 to 3 weeks or so. The Joy-Cons leaked, the motherboard leaked, the dock leaked. Like we've seen, I think there was even some mock-up images of like a new Pro controller as well. And I just want to talk about some of that stuff. Obviously, we've had the Switch for 8 years. So it's definitely due this year that we're going to get a new console generation, some new hardware with it. I want to say when compared to other consoles, the Switch 2 is rumored to be close to a PS4 Pro while docked, which is, in my opinion, is really good news. Nintendo has been known in the past to use kind of older hardware when making new systems, and I definitely think that the PS4 Pro is nothing to sneeze at. Was I expecting that Nintendo Switch 2 was going to be up there with PS5 Pro? No. So to have it compared to one generation ago PlayStation, I think is actually really great. And so I'm excited to see, with the new hardware, what kind of games they can develop. Obviously, there was the whole NVIDIA chip 4K upscaler that leaked, which is going to be nice, obviously, for games that are built to run in 4K, but then older Nintendo Switch 1 games that will then be upscaled. It kind of gives some nice replayabilities to some of those older games, which I like. But beyond the chips and the new power of the system, there was obviously the new Joy-Cons. There was talk about the new optical laser that's on the inside of, I want to say it was the left Joy-Con. I don't know. We never really saw the right, so I don't know if it's going to be in both of them or just the one. But that's going to be rumored to be used as some form of mouse functionality, which would be nice for like a Pikmin game or something like that. That would be really nice to play with like mouse controls. And then there's obviously the C button that we don't really know what it does. Some people have been talking about how that's been linked to voice chat, which would be nice. And how there's going to be more voice chat integration with this new console. Or it could do something entirely different. We don't know. The C button, we have no idea what it could be used for. There was also the new headphone jack on the Pro controller. There's new USB ports for accessories and things like that on the actual Switch. But these are all, from photos and other leaks that have come out over the past few weeks. So if you want to believe them, hopefully that's why we get an official announcement tonight, because a lot of this stuff is kind of still speculation at this point. A lot of it makes sense for going into this new console generation, but I want to wait till we get some official confirmation. But that's kind of some of the stuff that we've seen over the past few weeks. As far as tonight's announcement, I don't know that we're going to see much of games. They talked about how it was going to be mostly hardware stuff and that there would be a separate presentation for software and other games coming in the future. Obviously, in the trailer, we'll probably see like Mario and Zelda and, other big Nintendo franchises, whether that's, new games or just some of the older Switch 1 games that they want to show. But I think they'll definitely save the software lineup for a Nintendo Direct later in the year, but obviously before the Switch 2 launches. So whatever announcement we get to see tonight going into tomorrow will be solely on hardware. What can this thing do? What do the new Joy-Cons do? Maybe we'll see a Pro controller, but we'll have to wait to find out for that. As for when it's going to be launching, The Nintendo Switch 2 has been rumored to be talking about a launch in May or June of this year. So having a summer launch, I suppose, is probably a pretty good plan. We have a few games coming in the spring. Obviously, tomorrow we're going to get Donkey Kong Country Returns. So if this all ends up being a huge nothing, at least I can play Donkey Kong Country Returns HD for the third time tomorrow. But besides that, we obviously have Xenoblade X coming in March, and then Metroid Prime 4 later this year. I could see that being potentially like a summer title. And if it comes out close to Nintendo Switch 2 launch, obviously there's a lot of people that believe that it's going to be launch on both systems. So I could definitely see a May or June launch for Nintendo Switch 2, and then have Metroid Prime 4 kind of right along with it there. It's like, if you want to get the new Switch, it's kind of the situation with how Breath of the Wild came out on Wii U and Nintendo Switch 1 at this kind of the same time at its launch. I could see them doing that with Metroid Prime 4. Besides that, there has been rumored that we're going to be getting like a new 3D Mario, since the last one we got was Super Mario Odyssey way back at the very launch of the Switch. So that game is pretty old at this point. We haven't had a 3D Mario in quite some time. And so I could definitely see them, even if it's not directly at launch, a couple months later, either wait for like a holiday title time to release it. But definitely a 3D Mario is well overdue. I could definitely see them bringing that, and either summer if that's when the Switch 2 launches, or later in November around holiday season. There's also the idea of a Mario Kart 9. Maybe it's just Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I mean, it's going to be weird. Mario Kart obviously is one of the best sellers on the Nintendo Switch. So it's weird because it's in a spot where it's like they've added so much to the game. I wish they would just make a new Mario Kart, but because it already has such a large, outstanding player base, it feels weird to, I don't know. If we just get 8 Deluxe again, I don't know. I might be a little disappointed, but especially because they added so many booster courses to that game. I really don't know what they're going to do with Mario Kart. I'm just going to leave up to Nintendo to see what we get from that. Beyond first party games though, there's also been, we're going to see some Pokemon stuff obviously on Pokemon Day. That's not going to be till the end of February. So for the information on Pokemon Z, I think they're just going to save that for their own Pokemon Direct that they'll have on that day. So I don't imagine that we'll see too much from any announcement sooner than that. But there's also been some rumors that the Switch 2 is going to get a lot of other support from other devs. And so the big thing is like Metal Gear Solid Delta, the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3, is going to be running on Switch 2. The Halo Master Chief Collection is potentially coming to Switch 2. I've heard rumors on that. As well as the biggest one, which also seems the most realistic in my opinion, is the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Maybe Rebirth. I don't know if, we'll have to see. But Rebirth is obviously coming to PC here pretty soon. Can they get it running on Switch 2? If they do, that's going to be crazy. But yeah, I could definitely see at least Final Fantasy VII Remake coming to Switch 2, especially if it's been rumored to have the power of the PS4 Pro. I could definitely see that, especially with the relationship that Nintendo and Square Enix have built. But yeah, so that's kind of some of the games that have been rumored to be coming out soon. Obviously, there's unannounced stuff that we're going to see maybe in the trailer, but like I said, more likely in a future Nintendo Direct, potentially in late February. I would say probably more like March. We'll get a Nintendo Direct, but we'll have to see on that one. So as for the price of Switch 2, I don't want to say just yet. I know that they're still selling Switch 1s for about $350 full price. With a upgrade. I think it would go as high as $400. I don't know that they're going to sell it for any more. I think that $399 is probably what they're going to price Switch 2 at. But like I said, we'll have to see. I don't think they will announce a price immediately. I think they're going to hold on to that for a little bit because they don't want to, you know, it feels, I don't know, it feels too soon to announce a price on Nintendo Switch 2. And then, I don't know. So also there's my my hopes for Switch 2, what we're going to see on this new console. Kind of some of my hopes for this new one is that we get some more dedicated voice chat, that Nintendo really expands their servers and gives us some dedicated servers for some of these games that we like to play online. Obviously, Switch 1, it's been better than it was in the past, but the online components for Nintendo have always kind of been lacking. And so I'm hoping with this new generation that they kind of go all in on more community aspects. They've obviously tried it in the past with Miiverse, and I love Miiverse. I would love for something, it doesn't have to obviously be Miiverse itself, but something similar to come back for Switch 2. I think that would be really cool. Obviously, I was a big fan of Street Pass with the 3DS. I carry my Switch everywhere. If they do some kind of Street Pass functionality with Switch 2, I think that would be awesome. I'd love for them to kind of bring that back. Some other big things that I think some people have talked about is like achievement systems, and like being able to platinum games and being able to show your friends all the different achievements that you got. That's always been fun, and kind of, you know, disappointing that Nintendo never had an achievement system. And then obviously I know there's a big one is like the lack of themes. It's weird that Nintendo really went 8 years and never gave Switch any themes other than black and white. To me, it honestly feels weird that they even had that at all. Like light mode, dark mode. Okay, but then when they call it themes, now it feels like, oh, okay, you should be able to buy themes like, or download them like you had on the 3DS, but they never implemented that. So I'm hoping that comes to Switch 2 as well. So as for games, I don't want to speculate too much on what I want to see. Obviously, big Metroid, Xenoblade, Fire Emblem fan here. Those are my top three. So I'd love to see, and we already have a new Metroid coming. We already have Xenoblade X coming. Obviously, I'd love a new Fire Emblem for Switch 2. So yeah, so that's kind of my thoughts on Switch 2. Like I said, we should see an announcement sometime tonight, roughly around 8:30 to 9:30 if you live in America. And I don't know if that's just going to be, hey, tune in tomorrow for a little mini direct on this new hardware or what. But whenever that comes out, we'll definitely be making a video on it and going over the officially announced stuff. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you then.